Alright, let's do this one more time. I swear this video is cursed. I have tried recording this probably like 3 times. I think this is the 3rd time by this point. So we're gonna try one more time and hopefully everything works. Yeah! After reading some of the most spine-tingling, toe-curdling, stomach-churning romance webtoons I could find, I decided it would be in my best interest to try something new. Something fresh, something I've never done before. But what could I do? I racked my brain for ideas of video content I could make that wasn't the same old thing I've done before. I wanted to read something love-inspired, something with a little bit of suspense, and hell, maybe even some inspirational romance. I guess that would work, yeah. During one of my many romps at the local thrift store, I found myself wandering over to the book section. As my eyes cascaded across different types of books and their covers, I felt a world of possibilities at my fingertips. Perhaps a book about adventure, action, murder even. I looked through the shelves until something captured my attention. Among the shelves was not 1, not 2, not even 4, but 6 love-inspired suspense inspirational romance books. Specifically, Amish flavor love-inspired suspense inspirational romance books. Look at these. So naturally, I bought them all. I brought the books to the front counter and set them down, and as the guy at the checkout stand scanned each one, inspecting the cover, I have never been more embarrassed about an impulse purchase in my life. You could tell the exact moment when this man became disappointed in me, and that was around book 3 when he realized he still had 3 more Amish abominations to scan. Oh my gosh, this man, he sighed and shook his head at me. If I'd have had pearls on, I'd have clutched them. So, to the guy at the thrift store who had to scan every single Amish book in the store because of me, I'm sorry. Now, when I got them home and sat down to look at them, I started to notice some strange things about each and every one of these Amish-based books. The first is that they all have birthdays. I understand that these were release dates, but I just found it kind of silly that they have, like, birthdays. It's cute, it's charming. I don't know what you want me to say about it, but it's silly. What's your Amish book birthday? Mine is Amish Wilderness Survival, only 2 days away from my real birthday. The second thing I noticed is that they're all written by different authors, which I guess isn't crazy, but I figured it would be fun to figure out which of these people writes the best love-inspired suspense inspirational romance books. Among these Amish books, who will win? Who will convert the most people to the Amish lifestyle? Who will inspire us the most? Who will suspense us the most? Who will romance us the most? I decided to start with Smugglers in Amish Country by Debbie Giusti, and if I'm being honest as to why, this one just looked the most interesting out of the 6 books that I bought. Right off the bat, one weird thing is that this book came out in 2022. I don't know why I assumed that all romance books, or excuse me, love-inspired books came out like years ago, like in like the early 2000s. I was gobsmacked to find out that this came out in 2022. It also starts out with a Bible quote. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but I wasn't expecting that. I was actually going on vacation when I started reading this book, and I thought, hey, why not bring it with me so I can get some work done while on the plane? And let me tell you, the amount of sweat coming from my body while trying to hide the cover of the book and annotate it in the airport was damn near record-breaking. I actually have a note on page 15 that says I'm embarrassed to be reading this in public. That's right! Not only was I reading the Amish romance on the plane, I was dutifully annotating it on the plane. I even got my Barbie sticky notes involved. Look guys, I'm a professional YouTuber. Yay! The amount of humiliation I felt while annotating a book about love-inspired suspense inspirational romance Amish literature labeled larger text is incomprehensible. Maddie, did you just say larger? Oh yeah, baby. This bad boy isn't printed in large text, it's printed in larger text. What's worse is the fact that I actually liked that it was printed so big. I don't know, you can see how big this text is. It's pretty big. Anyways, I liked it. I liked that the text was so big. Sue me. Even when I got to my friend's house, I was holding them at book point while reading passages from smugglers from Amish country. Marty was so very grateful that the Lord had led her home to Amish country. I wish you'd go home to Amish country. It was so much fun that even her pet snakes got into the Amish action. We should become Amish! Yeah, let's do it! Let's become Amish! Yeah!
Do you like reading about the Amish? Me too.
So, I want to let you know that I made puppets so that you can understand the characters and who they are as people. So this is Marty. Hello, I'm Marty. She has a little badge. Our story starts when rookie cop Marty Sommers, you know, a name you give to a person, responds too late to a call for backup. A prominent house in Atlanta, Georgia was being robbed, but as soon as backup arrived, everything would be okay. Except it wasn't okay. No! Because cop team of Luke and Jacqueline, waiting for backup, decide to rush into the house, which ended in the deaths of the homeowners, Jacqueline losing her life, and Luke getting shot in the leg, causing him to be permanently disabled. Pew. Oh. Now, Marty beats herself up over her mistake of not showing up fast enough, and so does her police chief, relegating Marty to desk duty. 2 months pass, and the burglars are still at large, leaving Marty feeling as if she should do something. After getting a tip from a man who notoriously has dementia, you know, something you can notoriously have, about the burglar's getaway vehicle being a pool truck with a dent on the back left side, the police don't find it a reliable tip and move on. But Marty, oh that Marty, she wants to prove to herself and her father, a former cop, and her police chief, a different character for no good reason. So she takes a few days off and goes in search of the pool truck. I'm going in search of the pool truck. I really hope this is funny and not just stupid. Don't worry, Maddie. It's a great idea. Thank you, Marty. Now you might be wondering how Marty finds the pool truck. So Marty finds the pool truck having been parked outside of an empty lake house. She grabs her Glock and leaves her car in hopes of apprehending the burglar from the house robbery, lovingly referred to throughout the book as Pool Guy. As Marty approaches the house, she sees... Hold on, I need to find an Amish girl. As Marty approaches the house, she sees an Amish girl being held at gunpoint by the pool guy. Marty jumps out and shouts, "Police! Drop your weapon!" Pool guy shoots at her. Psh! Ah! And then rushes her, knocking the Glock out of Marty's hand. Then he runs away, chasing after the teen Amish girl. Marty cuts her off, grabs her arm, and pulls her into the car. Together, they escape the pool guy. Did Marty just kidnap this girl? The Amish teen named Ella points Marty to her house in Amish country, and together, the pair are able to escape and get away from pool guy. Marty, rather than calling the cops, rather than getting a license plate from the pool truck, rather than doing anything logical, just decides to go in with the teen and talk to her and her parents. But as they hold their breaths, waiting for pool guy to pass by the house on the way home, a man appears from the shadows. The sleeves of his shirt were rolled up, exposing his muscular arms and large hands, currently fisted, signaling anger, she feared. Suspenders held up his pants and he limped forward and stepped into the light. Black hair curled over his ears and a thick growth of facial hair ringed his square jaw. He had dark eyes, brows raised in question, and full lips parted into a disapproving frown. Marty's heart lurched and confusion swept over her. Luke? That's right, baby! Luke, the one who had become injured in the shootout that Marty was investigating, was now standing before her in all of his Amish glory. What are the chances? No, seriously, what are the chances? Luke, while in the hospital recovering from his injuries, gets news of his sister and brother-in-law's deaths. What killed them, you might ask? Well, the tragic buggy accident that claimed his sister and brother-in-law's lives. It took me out when I read it, okay? So Luke, having been the one who can readily take care of their kids, moves in with them, and this is how he came to be here in front of Marty. Honestly, this premise isn't even like the worst thing I've seen in a story, but it's everything that happens after the first chapter that has me feeling both bored and enraged at the story as a whole. Marty ends up staying at Luke's house that night after Luke calls the police, informing them about the pool guy. When she wakes up, it's time to find out what Luke's niece was doing at the lake house so late at night. Marty questions Ella about the mysterious tote bag she was holding at the time the pool guy had stopped her at gunpoint. Ella explains to us that she works as an Amish salesperson for the owner of the house, Valerie. She sells lotions and soaps to the Amish ladies in her community. Ella seems to be pretty happy with the setup because if she gets other Amish girls to join the sales team, then she gets a percentage of the sales. No, Ella, it's a pyramid scheme! Run! Trouble begins to brew when Luke comes home from dropping his other niece and nephew off at school. Amish school. When Ella tells him she needs to deliver products to the Amish lady, he deems it as unsafe, as how Pool Guy accosted Ella just the night before. Nothing strikes fear into me more than the name Pool Guy. Every time I go to the pool, I pee my pants. Ah! Pool Guy is here! Ma'am, please don't do that in the pool. Because of this, Ella and Luke butt heads for a large portion of the story, causing Luke to feel like an unfit guardian. Marty and Luke head down to talk to the sheriff about Pool Guy. Marty, however, sees a similar pool truck and bursts from her car, pointing her weapon at a random civilian claiming him to be the pool guy. Now, keep in mind, Marty literally just saw what the pool guy looked like the night before, so her confusing a stranger for her assailant is just one more point against her being a good police officer everyone claims her to be. This leads me to Marty's biggest struggle throughout the story, and that is her daddy issues. You see, after Marty was born, her mother left the family, causing her brother and father to blame her for their ruined home. Marty spends the rest of her life trying to prove herself to her father, and let me tell you, it gets annoying to read about pretty damn fast. The words her father, a retired cop, had told her cut into her heart even now. What have you done? I was foolish and made you sound like mistake. My father. Maybe her father was right. Her father maybe she wasn't cut out to be a cop, but that was to be expected. So as Marty and Luke go about the town trying to find the pool guy, they actually find him. Hidden in the forest, Marty abruptly stops her car and rushes to the parked van in hopes of getting the jump on pool guy. But instead, she trips and falls, alerts the pool guy, who promptly tries to run her over. Marty narrowly misses becoming a Marty pancake. That's how I imagine it. But she still gets hit on her hip from the truck. Luke rushes to her, thinking the worst, but Marty has survived. I'm alive! Thanks, plot armor! And let me tell you, Marty has the best plot armor Amish money can buy. Because from this point on, she just keeps getting clubbed, shot, and hurt while in the pursuit of the villainous pool guy. Here's the odd thing about this. Pool guy is the guy who keeps doing these things to her, and is always miraculously at the same spot she goes to investigate with Luke. But he always manages to escape because Marty is an inept police officer. I want her badge and gun on my desk right now! In the words of one particularly compelling Goodreads review, the pool guy seemed to be everywhere, but the sheriff and his deputies never seemed to be able to find him. So Pool Guy is becoming more and more dangerous. He's following young Amish girls home and stealing their pyramid scheme products from them and dumping them out. What on earth can Pool Guy possibly be searching for? How is this connected to the robbery that happened 2 months ago? Well, I'm so glad you asked. As we come to the climax of the story, Marty is in Valerie's lake house hoping to run into her and tell her about how dangerous the pool guy is and how he's been on her property a few nights prior. While she walks around her office space, Marty sees an array of Valerie's products and starts to smell them all, which is something I would do, but maybe not at this exact moment. While I might be the type of person to smell any type of candle, perfume, or lotion in the middle of a store burning a hole in my nose, I don't think I would be doing the same thing in a stranger's house while they're not home. It's rude. That, and it's really easy for people to sneak up on you. People like, the pool guy? Zoinks! They have another epic battle together. Pool guy is slow, but Marty is slower. He manages to knock her gun out of her hand and forces her to the floor and ties her up. This is the point in which I shook my head because this entire time pool guy's been telling Marty things like, I'll kill you! But then the moment he has the chance, he ties her up instead and tells her this. I could shoot you now, but a water accident would be better. You decide while I'm gone. Pool or lake? Which is a crazy line, because he basically just says, I'm pool guy. Are you ready to pool die? Like, they literally made the pool guy plan a pool-related murder. Pinnacle of literature right here! And then he leaves. He leaves Marty alone in a locked room. She's tied up, but don't worry, guys. He also left her with a pair of scissors, a map of where he was going next, and her gun just outside the locked door. I'm not kidding. He literally takes out a red pen and circles the name of where he's going next. And it's... Ella's house! Marty has to protect Luke's niece! She quickly cuts her binding and jumps out a window, retrieves her gun, and rushes back to Marty's house. Here we find out why Pool Guy has been searching the beauty products, and it's because he was hiding stolen jewels in them. Now, I don't know why, I just kind of assumed it was drugs being smuggled, because if you look at the cover, that's a reasonably large box. I think it's only natural to assume it's drugs, but can't smuggle drugs here. This is a good Christian-inspired book. But this entire time, Pool Guy was only after one specific diamond bracelet he had put into one of the bottles for the Amish girls to later sell. Marty bursts into the house, gun blazing, because again, he left it for her, and she's a terrible, negligent officer, gun on my desk, young lady, and catches the Pool Guy off guard. He lowers his weapon, and Ella is safe. But then, a twist happens, and it turns out Valerie is in on the smuggling ring too. I don't have a puppet for Valerie. Shoot, you can be Jacqueline. Okay. This was this was Jacqueline, but now it's Valerie. Valerie the evil. Yeah. This is the first time she appears in the book. She appears behind Marty with another gun pointed to her head. Valerie asks what's going on, and here Pool Guy tells her that after the robbery 2 months ago, he had hid the jewels in her products and was planning on getting them back when things cooled down. He dumps out a bottle and shows her the bracelet he had stolen has been in her products this whole time. Mad that the Pool Guy didn't explain this to her months ago, Valerie shoots Pool Guy. Marty's ears rang from the loud report. Babe! Pool Guy grabbed his chest and his eyes bulged as he dropped to the floor. Holy crap, this is intense. Did Pool Guy just pool die? Just as Valerie turns her weapon on Marty, Luke bursts in and tackles her to the ground. All the while, Valerie is screaming, I'm not a criminal! I'm not a criminal! And everything pretty much wraps up with a nice little bow. Even Marty's police chief tells us the entire plot of the book, if any of you were confused. You brought a murderous robbery ring to justice, as well as a couple of jewel smugglers who have menaced our city over these last few months. Your determination and hard work uncovered the key player who scouted out the homes and gave the robbers valuable information on how to access the properties and what was available for the taking once they entered the premises. As we all know, thanks to your determination and hard work, the information was gleaned under the guise of selling beauty products to unsuspecting homemakers. The prosecution in Valerie Nichols' case has assured me she'll have a long incarceration, as will her boyfriend and partner in crime, Hank Foster, aka Pool Guy. Nice recap, Chief Guy! It's nice to know I could have just read this instead of the entire book. With the bad guys having been captured and Marty being commended for being the good cop, that leaves us with a few more things to take care of. One being her daddy, and the other being her daddy. Like I mentioned previously, Marty has a ton of daddy issues and is extremely vocal about them for the entire book. But I don't know, rather than getting to sit down and see Marty have an extremely long and difficult conversation and work out some of these issues with her dad, she just tells us about it after the fact. You know, why show off your writing skills when you can just say you have good writing skills? I was trying to earn my father's approval, Luke, instead of following my own heart. My dad and I had a long talk. That's it! That's it! Man, I wish I could fix my daddy issues with one conversation. So Marty returns to Amish country for the end of the book, and within the last 7 pages, she turns Amish, tells Luke, "I love you," and he proposes to her and she accepts. You're probably telling yourself, wow, that really came out of the blue. And you are so absolutely correct. In my last annotation of Smugglers in Amish Country, I write, I don't understand how every aspect of the story takes a back seat. Who is driving? And I think that pretty much sums up how the story played out. It left me really bored and exhausted, but also angry because so much of the story could have just been cut out in exchange for the harder conversation the author was trying to present to us. When Marty and Luke have a somewhat heart-to-heart after they eat an Amish dinner together, the conversation starts out with, and I quote, "Somehow Marty got him talking about growing up Amish." Are you kidding me? You can't be serious! That would have been the perfect opportunity to explore the characters, how they talk, and you just said, "Shit, dog, I don't know how she did that." It's just, this is so incredibly lazy! Another thing this book does is just list things off at readers and over-explain what's going on. Luke would take his own advice and lock his doors. He'd also engage the deadbolts he'd recently installed. In addition, he would check the barns surrounding the property to make certain no one was lurking in the darkness. Bottom line, he had to ensure the children remained safe. And I don't know, I think it's really weird to have to list off everything that's happening. I think it kind of speaks down to your viewers where it's like, oh, they're too stupid to assume that he would lock the door and put the deadbolt on and go check the like, Luke checked the property and made sure it was safe so that the children were safe. Great, cool, let's shrink it down and move on. I'm sorry, it's So that is Smugglers in Amish Country, the greatest love-inspired suspense inspirational romance I've ever read. I rank it 1 out of 1. Because it's the only one I've ever read. If you'd like me to read one of the other 5 and rank them against it, let me know in the comments below. If in the meantime you too would like to read a copy of Smugglers in Amish Country by America's sweetheart Debbie Giusti, I will be listing my annotated copy on eBay for an absurd price. I need to get it out of my house and out of my head. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. Mwah. But yeah, let me know if you like this type of video, and I might try it again some more. Bye bye, love you. Are you ready to pool die?